Hello, I'm Dr. Aryani from Presidential Holistic and Biological Dentistry. In our practice, when we have a new patients, not only we do a traditional checkup like any other dental practices, we take a CBCT, which is 3D X-rays, and then we check your gum, your teeth, your TMJ, and your muscles, around and stuff like that. But in addition to that, we also do the screening for our internal organ functions that help with the healing and also maintaining your mouth health that can help with your overall health. Some of the things that we do is something called a burp test. When you drink 8 ounces of water mixed with a 1/4 teaspoon of soda, and then we wait how long will it take for you to burp. This is indication of your acid production, and acid production is very important for not only prevent acid reflux but also all other beautiful function to break down our food. And also we do a thyroid test where you measure your temperature for 3 mornings, and we got the average. From that we can get a glimpse on how is your thyroid function. And food journal is very important because what you put in your mouth can break your teeth or can strengthen your teeth with a good digestion. Also, glucose monitor. It's very important to see what is your glucose level throughout the day look like, because if you have a blood sugar level going up, you create inflammation throughout your body, including your mouth. And there's a direct relationship between diabetes and gum disease toward pancreas function as well. And there is a direct relationship between the level of blood sugar toward the health of your gum and your bone. The periodontitis or infection in your gum can trigger diabetes, and diabetes or insulin resistance or pre-diabetic can also influence your periodontal condition. And that's why I'm emphasizing the importance, to see the glucose level, so then we can see if we can manage blood glucose level. I have very interesting experience because I thought myself I'm eating healthy food and I'm watching what I eat. But when my nutritionist suggested me to have the blood glucose level checked, by there is an app, and we're gonna share with you the name of the app and also the wearable device. I'm very surprised to see how my blood sugar level is going up and down. I cannot imagine, if people, for instance, in the morning they drink coffee laden with sugar and cream and stuff like that. And you have your donuts. I cannot imagine you have that spike, and that spike of blood glucose is create inflammation throughout your blood vessels, not only in your body but also will reflect, poorly in our mouth as well, in our gum. So that's why one of the reasons we have a gum disease or your gum is bleed. Another thing that we test is we're doing the iodine test. If you're not allergic, we will always ask if you're allergic to iodine or not. So we have the Provident iodine, and then we put it like in the circle, like about a quarter circle, and then we put that in there, and we'll see how long will that Provident iodine dissipate, from your skin, and that will determine how hungry you are for the iodine. And iodine is very important minerals that support the function of our thyroid to create thyroid hormone. When I see some of the red flags, coming, from the screening, it's very imperative, it's very important for us to follow up with the blood test. And this is not only just regular blood test, because this blood test will be done by the functional nutritionist. It's very important because this blood test not only will test the nutritional condition and also the function of all of these organs, but also it will give us a glimpse on how you function, in general. And it's very important for us, before we do even any intervention in your mouth, to make sure that your baseline your body function is ready for defense, the infection, the healing, and regeneration, and also for maintenance. So with that in mind, I would like to introduce you to Taylor. She's a functional nutritionist, and then she will emphasize on how important to have the blood work, not only for your mouth health, but also for overall.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Aryani.
Yeah,
my name is Taylor Muir. I am a functional nutritionist or functional medicine practitioner. But yeah, basically, I think blood work is really, really important. I run it for every single client that I have. It gives us a really, really good comprehensive overview of where your body's at.
Now that we understand more how mouth is connecting to the overall health.
Absolutely.
Nutrition is the building block of that, health or prevention, or even healing.
Yeah, I got into this field just because, similar to Dr. Aryani, I thought I was doing the right things. I thought I was feeling good. And then one day I did not. And a lot of things started to go downhill. And for me, I was trying to figure out what was wrong, what was going on. And through some of my own health circumstances, I ended up finding the functional medicine route, which has absolutely changed my life. And I've been doing this for the last 4 years, and it's been an incredible experience for me, and also getting to meet clients and be able to help them out as well has been an incredible experience. So something that I've found to be most affordable, most comprehensive is honestly running blood work. And so that's honestly where I start with every single client. From your blood work, our ranges, if you go to your doctor, a lot of times you feel really bad, you don't feel good, you go get your blood work run, and then they say you're totally fine, that nothing's out of range. And that is what clients say when they come to me. And then I run their blood work, and we see a lot of things out of range. And my ranges look very different. The doctor's ranges nowadays cover 95% of our population. So the range is really, really large. And because of that, right, we now are looking at our population that's so sick. And so we need to look at ranges that are way more narrow, that keep us out of the hospital, that prevent health down the road, that prevent any issues, and also give us energy, make us feel better today. And so those are the ranges that I look at. And again, very different from conventional ranges, but so necessary to figure out what's going on in your health. When I look at blood work, I can see everything from, of course, iron levels. I can see your white blood cells, which is going to tell me, are you fighting an infection? Are you not fighting an infection? Is it chronic? Is it acute? We can look at your liver health, which liver health is so important. Our liver does over 500 different functions in our body.
Wow.
Yeah. And so if our liver is not functioning appropriately, we get a lot of things like we have rashes, we have acne, we have energy, low energy, right? Our body, when our liver is backed up, we start detoxing in other ways that really cause us, take a lot of energy from us, cause us a lot of issues. But yeah, our liver is so, so important. And I can look and see, where is your liver going to be in 5 or 10 years? We can look at markers way ahead before we even hit our liver markers and see, hey, our liver is starting to go down. And most people's liver, we can't even see on our blood work that it's malfunctioning until we're at 70% decreased, which is crazy. So our liver needs support. So we can see liver health, we can see adrenal health, we can see thyroid health. If you go to your doctor and order a thyroid panel, they're going to order you TSH, and that's probably all they're going to order you.
Yeah.
And when I run for the thyroid, I run 10 different markers that give us way more information about how your thyroid's functioning, where are nutrient needs. Is there an autoimmune reaction? I have a lot of clients come to me nowadays that don't even realize that their thyroid is an autoimmune condition, and we need to get on that. We need to figure out why. So we look at thyroid health. I can see, is there any like viruses or bacterial infections? Have you been exposed to mold? I can figure out all of this just by looking at your blood work. And so that's why I love blood work. It gives us a complete comprehensive analysis basically of where is your health at, where is it going, and what can we do today about that. So yeah, that's what I ran with Dr. Ryan. It's what I run with every client, and it has been incredibly successful. We can also figure out even nutrient deficiencies as well. I can see, how is our methylation, which methylation is basically how do we get toxins out of our body appropriately? How do we appropriately absorb the food that we eat? And a lot of times we're deficient in B minerals and certain vitamins and minerals in our body. And so our blood work will also show that as well. So I do run a really comprehensive panel. It's you probably get a lot more vials taken through the panel that I run than what your doctor runs. which is a lot, but it's so beneficial. We do not run enough in the doctors. We don't run enough numbers, doesn't tell us enough. So anyway, yeah, looking at your blood work is just really beneficial. We can see where inflammation's at. And like Dr. Rani said, one thing that I really want to iterate is, if we have stuff in our mouth going on, we can't just fix the mouth. We have to fix the rest of the body. Our body is one, right? We're mind, body, and spirit. And so it's so important to really fix everything going on in the body, and then our mouth will, respond to that. Yeah. And so,
yeah, I mean, I have a lot of patients when I check their thyroid, and then I can see that there is some, inflammation or, nodule. I said, oh, but, my thyroid test was normal. I just came last week or, a couple of days before. Yeah. So can you please tell me more about what do you do as far as what kind of differences of thyroid hormones or, pre-thyroid hormone and stuff like that you do?
Yeah, so the thyroid is complex, I will say, but it is sadly what takes the brunt of so much of our stress in our lives, whether that's physical stress from our environment, or that could be stress from emotional stress, which nowadays we're all experiencing so much emotional stress. And sadly, that goes straight to the thyroid. And so yeah, so for example, like you said, when you go to the doctor and the doctor says your thyroid's fine, they only ran 1, maybe 2, 3 markers. Like I said, I run way more markers, which will tell me way more about how your thyroid is actually functioning. And so, we were just talking before about the thyroid and how if your thyroid is decreased functionality by 10%, every single other tissue in your body is also decreased by 10%.
Wow.
Every single cell in your body has a receptor to your thyroid. And so your thyroid is working so hard. If you need more energy, your thyroid creates more hormones for that energy. If your thyroid is going to also just modulate growth. And so when it comes to the mouth, right, the thyroid is what's going to be, you can kind of think of it as a conductor in so many avenues of your body. It's going to conduct and tell what to do. And if it's slowly functioning, we're not going to be able to form bone in our mouth. We're not going to be able to appropriately utilize calcium as well, because the thyroid can't speak to the rest of the body, and the thyroid really dictates how our body functions.
So what kind of burden that thyroid can experience that make them basically being shut from getting to our cells?
Yeah, so like I said, what burdens the thyroid? Stress is the number one thing that burdens our thyroid. Also, what burdens our thyroid is heavy metals. We have heavy metals in our drinking water, in the environment that we breathe in the air. There's just so much out there in our food, sadly, just in so many different ways. And so heavy metals is a really common thing. Viruses, a lot of viruses really just like to capture themselves in our thyroid, and that really puts a lot of stress on our thyroid. And so we're going to have decreased function. And yeah, again, those, and then just blood sugar regulation, that's also really highly linked to our thyroid. And so when our blood sugar is going up and down, just like Dr. Aryani said, right, we're going to have inflammation in our body and inflammation to our thyroid, and we're not going to function as appropriately as well. So when I look at your blood work, I look at, why is the thyroid off? Are there other factors for dehydration? Are there factors for nutrient deficiencies? Are there different things telling me that, oh, there's probably heavy metals or a virus going on? So these are all reasons why your thyroid is going to need support and why it can be burdened in the first place. So
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how about adrenal?
Yeah.
We test adrenal too. There's several things, why adrenal is very important, for the mouth. One of them is regulating the pH of our body, including our mouth. Yeah. And our mouth is always tend to be acidic anyway. Once you finish eating, that's just the body, lower down the pH as a signal to our stomach, to create more acid, so then we can digest that. So by physiologic standpoint, there's that process going on as well. And my understanding is if the adrenal doesn't function well, then your pH level is going down too, which is in our mouth, the enemy, the kryptonite of the minerals is the low pH, because it pull out, those calciums, make you prone toward getting more cavities,
Exactly.
and then also gum disease
Mhm.
and stuff like that. Can you
Yeah,
emphasize more about
absolutely.
that?
Yeah. So we use our adrenals today in the world today way more than we ever have in the
Really?
past.
How is that?
That's because of processed food, because of stress in our environments, because of emotional stress, because of social media. We are constantly spiking our blood sugar. Again, everything goes back to blood sugar. We're constantly spiking our blood sugar. Our blood sugar isn't even supposed to utilize our adrenals that often. But because we're spiking up and down and up and down and up and down all the time, even though we're not really supposed to, we use our backup system, our emergency backup system, which is our adrenals. And so now we're using our adrenals, which are actually really meant to be doing so many other things, not helping us with our blood sugar. And so we go and we use our adrenals, and now our adrenals, which are basically, they produce hormones that help to modulate the immune system. They help to have a good stress response. They help with overall absorption of nutrients. It helps with so many different functions in our body. And because we're utilizing it for blood sugar, it's exhausted by the time it has to do what it's supposed to do, how it's supposed to help with the mouth, how it's supposed to help with these things. And so our adrenals, also when we use our adrenals, we're constantly depleting nutrients when we use our adrenals. And so now we're becoming nutrient deficient because we're relying on our emergency system, our adrenals. So they never get to do the role they're supposed to. And that's what we see. We see that connection to the mouth. We see the connection to the thyroid, to the rest of the body. And so it's such a vital organ, and it's just being overutilized, and it's really causing a lot of harm on our bodies.
Yeah. So is this adrenal also because it's working harder? Does that mean our pituitary gland also working harder?
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Our pituitary gland's also working harder, 100%. Yep. All that's working really hard, a lot harder. And again, what does that happen? It affects our nervous system.
Right.
So we could talk about nervous system for so long, right? Nervous system is crucial. I guess we get into it a little bit, but yeah, I mean, when we think of using our adrenals and again, adrenals release cortisol, which is our stress hormone, right?
Yeah.
And so when we
in a fight and flight,
exactly. So we overproduce cortisol and we become in a fight or flight mode. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard about that term, but basically when your body is in fight or flight, everything else shuts down. The rest of your body shuts down because it's just focused on just bringing your body back into a calm state. And so digestion is off, so we're not absorbing, our thyroid's not working, we can't fight any infection that's going on. We encounter an environmental toxin, our body can't handle it because we're just constantly in this fight or flight mode. We're constantly, being bombarded with so many different things. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, so that's why it's very important, for us to make sure that your adrenal will function properly, because with 85% of population having periodontitis, in addition to other burden inside the mouth, and there's also, we're not using any more metal, but make sure that under your crown, okay, there is no metal in it, because that metal itself can corrode because of the acidic environment, metal and acidic environment. Then you release that, to your system, and your system is become burdened, by the metal.
And that's so hard on your system.
Right.
Yeah. It steals so many of your nutrients.
Yeah. Now, can you talk more about the glucose level?
Yeah, absolutely.
What is the state of our society nowadays with the sugar, and how is that impact our pancreas, and how is it affect the whole body?
Yeah, absolutely. Going back to our glucose, when I run blood work for my clients, I would say I think the stat is 1 out of 2, and I've seen it in my clinical practice as well.
Wow.
1 out of 2 people come back with the hemoglobin A1C within a pre-diabetic range.
That's me too. By the way. I hope I'm better though.
I'm sure you're better. Yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna run another one after all of that.
Definitely, we'll run another one to test it again. But yes, so I have so many clients come to me, and again, it goes back to the food we eat. Even if we go out and we eat a quote unquote healthy meal of protein and such, all the seed oils, all the processed foods and ingredients that they're using still causes our blood sugar to spike. And what we need to really understand is every single time that our blood sugar spikes, we create inflammation in our body. Our blood sugar is the most important thing that our body's doing most of the time, because it's our source of energy. It's basically, what's allowing our body to tell us when to eat, how much we're eating, all that kind of thing. And it's basically what gives energy to our cells. And so our body is always waiting for food because that's what fuels us. And so, for example, when our blood sugar goes up and down and all over the place, our body is only focused on getting that blood sugar back into balance. And the rest of the body does not function as much anymore. It's that our focus is here on blood sugar. And so our infections going on, our malabsorption, our digestion that's off, our bloating, our fatigue, that's not even being talked about or even focused on because we have to get the blood sugar back. And so that's what we see with glucose, right? And glucose, insulin, our hemoglobin A1C, those are the markers that I'm looking at to see where are we at with our blood sugar. And like I said, that inflammation is going to affect every part of our body. And so that's going to create inflammation in our mouth. And then, like you said, with pancreas, again, we're constantly using our pancreas to release insulin, right, to bring everything back into balance. And so we're just using things over and over and over that shouldn't be used as often, and our body becomes fatigued, basically.
Yeah. So what I found that from our interaction, I mean, it's a little bit inconvenient, but after some times, cooking from home, even though it's simple one, it's always satisfying.
Absolutely.
That give me a lot of more awareness of what I'm putting in my body.
Yeah.
I mean, even the emotion, something that's very interesting to me is that the bioresonance that you do. So I mean, with that quote unquote simple blood tests, you can draw a lot of conclusion about the path of our own health.
I do want to make sure that we're aware that it's not just this internal thing. Like if you're always craving sugar, or your mood is all over the place, or you have shakiness before your meals, or you're really irritable before your meals, or you have headaches, all those are blood sugar responses. And so energy, all those are very simple ways you can just check your blood sugar today. Is it a bit, am I shaky between meals? Am I headachy? Or that irritation, that fatigue when you wake up, the afternoon slump at 2 o'clock, that afternoon slump, that's a blood sugar issue. That's an adrenal issue. And so those are ways you can check right now. How is your glucose? How's your blood sugar? Because that is so crucial. We do not want to see that the amount of type 2 diabetes nowadays is crazy. So this prevention is crucial.
1 out of 4 kids nowadays, and they're kids that never happened before. They already experienced pre-diabetic, and not to mention about other thing that our children is already experiencing.
Absolutely.
Autism, ADHD, and stuff like that. It has something to do with sugar too, right? So and you can imagine, if all of this organ does not function properly, and they running in the in the emergency type of situation, and then you come to me, and then you have several infections inside your mouth that need to be taken care of, but then your body is already depleted, while you actually need all of these organ function properly, and your body is supported by nutrition properly, so you can heal properly as well. So that's why nutrition is something that I emphasize a lot on the first visit, so that we can be all in the same page as far as moving forward to get a healthy mouth and gum that also hopefully healthy for the overall health.
And we talked a little bit earlier with nutrition. I always say it's not what you eat, it's what you absorb. So absorption is so crucial. And even like this at-home test that you can test your stomach acid, it's so important that we have enough stomach acid, because stomach acid is basically what helps us to digest our protein. It also is our first line of defense for bacteria on our food. So with infections and all these type of things, right? Our hydrochloric acid, that's what kills the bacteria on our food. That's what kills the parasites, kills the stuff so it doesn't get into our gut and doesn't affect our overall health, right? And so many of us, I would say, honestly, 9 out of 10 of my clients that come to me easily do not absorb their food that they're eating. And so a lot of us are like eating healthy and we think we're fine, but we're not actually absorbing it. And that's due to all this inflammation and all these overgrowth of bacteria in our gut and in our mouth. And just like, with our mouth is so crucial. And this is what I'm learning in my field. I didn't start with the mouth, right? But I've learned so much that, you're swallowing this bacteria, you're swallowing these infections in your mouth right to your gut. And so, it's so important that we really work together on this. But like I said, that nutrition is important, and getting our hydrochloric acid, that acid in our stomach, up to really digest our food. And if we don't digest our protein, you know, that means that we create inflammation in the next part of our digestive process, our small intestine, our large intestine, right? Our protein wasn't broken down enough, and now it's getting in there, and they have no idea how to break it down because it's not broken down enough, and the small intestine and large intestine don't know how to do that appropriately. And so it creates inflammation.
And end of it bloating.
Bloating, absolutely. Right? HCl, sometimes just decreased HCl or stomach acid is the reason for bloating, is the reason for all these issues. And so getting that stomach acid up is crucial. And there's a lot of cofactors for that. We need enough zinc. You know, we need enough water. We need enough calcium. There's so many things to get that HCl up, but what depletes our HCl?
Balance the nerve system.
Exactly, balance the nervous system. And what actually decreases our HCl is stress. Stress and eating too quick, and those type of things are going to decrease it. And so many people in now today's world does not have enough stomach acid, and when the top of our digestive system is off, the bottom is way off. And so it is a domino effect, and so we need each step, especially in the beginning, to be working appropriately so that our digestive function works appropriately as well.
Another thing that we are very interested also is about the iodine test. It's after the screening, more often than not, you know, I found that a lot of my patients, you know, they also have red flags on all of these home tests. And it's very easy nowadays to be iodine deficient because fluoride is everywhere.
Exactly.
And fluoride is competing with the receptor in our thyroid, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
most people need iodine in their diet, and we don't eat a lot of iodine. You know, it is through kelp or through sea granules and stuff. And so we don't get a lot of it. It's really, you have to be very specific to get the iodine, as well as selenium. Those are the two nutrients for our thyroid that we need. And selenium is Brazil nuts is the best way to get that. Again, not many of us are eating Brazil nuts. So
I do now.
Yeah, good. Absolutely. That's great. But yeah, exactly. Iodine, that's a great test because we don't, a lot of us do not have enough iodine.
Yeah. I hope we learn a lot, you know, from this small conversation. If you have any question, please don't hesitate to contact me or Taylor so we can answer your question and hopefully give you more clarity on how important it is, not only for your dental health, but also for overall health to have the blood check, especially if the screen, you know, come positive. It's very important. This is just a, you know, just a glance screen to see what's going on. And, you know, hopefully we can follow up, you know, with the more detailed blood work so we can basically being proactive. And that's the thing about the functional medicine, right? Yeah. So being proactive and then do the prevention, you know, before things get worse.
Definitely. What you do today for your blood work is not just to feel better, like it genuinely prevents, you know, cancerous cells down the road. It prevents, you know, a lot of the things that run in our families that we're worried about.
Diabetes,
Alzheimer's, exactly. This is preventative health, and that's why I think blood work is such a beautiful tool to be able to really see, you know, where are we headed and what can we do today about that.
Right.
You know, if you want to see an overall comprehensive point about where you are in your health, blood work is a great way to start. And again, like you said, you know, you can get it, they can come to your house, or you can go to LabCorp, which there's LabCorps everywhere around you, no matter where you live, and we can run that. So yeah, definitely reach out. You'll have my email or my website, whichever way you want to reach out to me is great.
Right. So yeah, I hope that you learn a lot today regarding the relationship between nutrition and dental and mouth health. So thank you, Taylor, for sharing your time and your expertise.
For having me.
Yeah, so we look forward to work together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Bye-bye.